Something's going on, maybe a health issue. Should you try and heal it or alleviate it or offer it up? Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. The foundational topic here is what is our right relationship to human goods as Christians? Even for the Christian, human goods are normally to be pursued, and if they are going to be freely sacrificed as opposed to a circumstance where they're just taken away, that needs to be discerned well, generally with some mentorship, some accompaniment. So what are some of the human goods we're talking about here? We're talking about health. We're talking about safety, both emotional and physical safety. We're talking about justice. We're talking about being loved. When we have this Christian principle of sacrifice and of redemptive suffering, particularly for young people, sometimes this can get a little bit confusing. So let's talk about health, right? Normally, if there's a health issue, it's good to go to a doctor. It's good to try and get sufficient sleep. It's good to eat and to nourish your body in a healthy way. For example, maybe you have a newborn and you're not able to sleep. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and offer that up. But if you're not sleeping well and it's really affecting your life and your health, while we're still struggling with it, we're gonna offer it up. But we're also going to go and kind of pursue some help. Maybe it's a temporary use of medicine, maybe it's going to a doctor, etc. What we're not going to do as Christians is freely, do vigils every night and get 3 hours of sleep. That's just not that's not going to be healthy. And if somebody is going to be called to some sort of keeping vigil, like some monks are, that again is going to take discernment and accompaniment. And in something like the Carthusians, there's a lot of that. Similarly with fasting, we want to be really, really careful with fasting. Normally for fasting, we talk about doing what's the church fast, which is very temperate, which is one normal meal, 2 smaller meals that don't add up to that main meal. Anything more than that, there's gonna want to be some serious discernment and accompaniment, particularly by somebody who's not just a peer, somebody who's a mentor. And under health and human goods is going to be sort of mental health. And so if you're struggling with anxiety, with intrusive thoughts, with depression, etc., yeah, you know what? While you're experiencing it, bring it to the Lord 100%, but also be very, very open to bringing it to a professional, to actually seeking relief of that anxiety or the depression, etc. The Lord wants healing and wholeness in all the areas of your life. And normally, as for health, you go to a doctor. For physical health, for mental health, you're going to go to some sort of counselor, therapist, etc. But for example, as a Franciscan, we're called to make a certain sacrifice towards the human good of financial responsibility or stability. There's a certain degree of imprudence that we are called to. And so we do certain things financially, the community, we're not allowed to have more than a year's worth of expenses at a time. That's financially somewhat imprudent if it could be improved. But that's what God's calling us to, this place of dependence, or doing things like traveling without cell phones to call each other, without whatever personal bank accounts, things like that. There's a sacrifice of a human good, which we've discerned it well. Normally, you want to be financially responsible and to have yourself in a good place. That type of fiscal security is a human good to be pursued. This last one is the area where I think some people can get a little bit more confused and in trouble. It is a human good to be loved. You know what I mean? It's very important for children as they're growing up to be loved. This is a human good. And it's a human good to be actively pursued. And so this is going to include friendship. This is going to include sharing your life with someone, sharing your joys with someone, sharing your sorrows with someone. This is a human good to be pursued. Life circumstances may not provide that for you. And in that time, there's a place to go to your hidden room 100% and to just experience all this stuff with the Lord. But that's not the fullness and the abundance of life that God is normally willing for us. He wants us to be in family and in friendship and in community and in this sort of place in which we are experiencing incarnationally His joy, His love of us mediated through the community and through other people. It's okay, it's your birthday. Your friends maybe don't know it. Should you tell them it's your birthday? Should you, if somebody isn't planning a party, initiate? Yeah. If something good happens, should you just keep it hidden in sort of this pseudo faux humility? Or should you share that joy with somebody? Share the joy with somebody. If there's a sadness or a sorrow, should you just kind of like keep it up and in the name of like Christianity, keep it just to yourself and God? Well, normally not. Normally you should share this with somebody. This is where we can get in trouble if we don't discern this well and have a proper like ordered disposition towards like the human goods, is we can kind of tend towards this like life of like isolation and loneliness, but we can kind of like spiritualize it, and then that can end up just kind of getting us hurt, and it can lead to kind of like a disordered, disfigured kind of view of God and who he is and who like what he desires for us in this life. So normally the relationship towards human goods and human flourishing is to pursue those goods and pursue that flourishing in the variety of natural areas, understanding that as we're on the journey towards pursuing those goods, as they're taken away for us, they're not provided for us for a variety of reasons. That's where we like really prayerfully like bring the Lord and say like, hey Lord, like I'm not feeling loved, I need to be loved. I'm not feeling celebrated or seen, I need to be celebrated and seen. Can I know it in you? I want to have my ultimate safety in you, Lord. My ultimate stability in you and your providence. But we don't go that way like immediately, and we don't go to that place of like impoverishment unless it's like very, very well discerned and again accompanied by those who are wise and mature in the spiritual life. And hopefully like the takeaway can be like making an action step towards maybe pursuing a human good in your life that you haven't been necessarily actively pursuing up to this point, and asking the Lord to provide and to open the right doors. All right, friends, we'll see you again next week. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth, somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. God bless you. We're going to make it.